Hi, thank you so much for joining me for a 45-minute gentle yoga class. So this class is going to have a lot of gentle, slow movements, not the longer, deeper, intense holds that we can have in a deep stretch class. So it's really meant to be light and loose and feel good in your body. So make any adjustments or variations that you need to make. This is your practice. And we're gonna start in a embryo pose actually. So come onto your shins, hips to your heels, and then you're just gonna gently rest your torso down on top of your thighs and rest your arms alongside your bodies, and your palms will face up, back behind you. Keep your neck nice and long and rest your forehead down on your mat. So you should have a rounding in your spine. And then just kind of take some gentle little circles of your forehead on the mat, just massaging out your forehead. Go in both directions. And just relax your forehead. Eyes closed, of course, here. Take some gentle movements of your jaw. You can stretch your mouth open wide. And then come to a resting position. Jaw nice and loose. Let your shoulders slump forward. It's a very passive, gentle pose. We'll take 5 breaths in and out through your nose, settling into your space. Just letting any tension roll off your back and your shoulders, roll down your tailbone. And coming to a totally soft, relaxed, peaceful state here. Reach your arms forward on your mat. Nice long stretch. Spread your fingers wide. Claw the mat with your fingertips. I'm going to move a little bit back on my mat. You can do the same if you need to. Take one full breath here, stretching your arms long. Get active in your arms. And you're just going to slither your way forward, plant your elbows on the floor, your forehead, chin, chest, and then come all the way up into a high cobra. And just relax your thighs down on the floor. Reach through the crown of your head. Avoid throwing your head back, but keep reaching long so that your neck is open. You can move around here. Take your chin to your right shoulder. Take your chin to your left shoulder. Come back to center and then take your chin to your chest. And reach all the way back up. And from here, press your hips back towards your heels. As you breathe in, slither your way forward and come into high cobra. As you breathe out, press your hips back towards your heels. One more time, slither your way forward. Forehead, nose, chin, chest. Reach up and back to child's pose. Keep your right arm extended long on your mat. We're going to stretch the left shoulder. So slide your left arm underneath your right. Come onto your left shoulder and left ear. Your left palm faces up toward the sky. Your right palm presses firmly down into your mat. And then let's stretch our right shoulder. So extend your left arm long, slide your right arm underneath your left. Come onto your right shoulder and right ear. Right palm faces up. Left palm presses firmly down into your mat. And reach your right arm forward. Start to roll your way up. So stacking one vertebra at a time. And coming all the way up until your shoulders are right over your hips. Reach long through the crown of your head. If this is becoming uncomfortable on your knees or your ankles for any reason, please take a different seated position. You can always come into a cross-legged position if you'd like. Otherwise, stay right where you are, and then bring your right arm up and over, left hand to your right elbow, or maybe you can take the clasp behind your back. Try to avoid taking the clasp if you find yourself hunching over. So make any adjustments so that your shoulders are over your hips and the crown of your head is reaching toward the ceiling and your neck is long. Take 3 more breaths here. Keep your jaw relaxed, your forehead soft. And then switch sides. So bring your left arm up and over, right arm behind. You can clasp your hands or take your right hand to your left elbow, sit up tall, and take 3 more breaths. Release your arms. Now, if you're not already, go ahead and come to a cross-legged seated position. I'm going to take some twists in the spine. So reach your arms up overhead as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, twist to the right. Come back to center. Big breath in. Big breath out as you twist to the left. Come back to center. And twist to the right. Back to center. Twist to the left. Back to center. And then release your hands onto the floor in front of you and start to walk your hands forward. You can have your head resting on your fists. You can have your hands resting on the floor if this is enough of a stretch for you. Or you can walk your hands all the way forward and rest your forehead on the floor. And walk your hands back up. And switch the cross of your legs. Same thing on this side, might feel a little different. Walk your hands forward to the comfortable edge of your stretch, getting a nice hip stretch, low back stretch. And walk your hands back up. Extend both legs out in front. And just wiggle out your legs. We're going to take staff pose first, which is a nice active seated pose. So extending the legs out long. It's okay if they're bent. If they're straight, we will really want to activate the quadriceps or the tops of your legs so that your heels are even actively lifting off the floor. Toes point straight up toward the ceiling, so you should feel your muscles turn on in this pose. You can have your hands resting on your thighs or alongside of your body for support. You want to stack your shoulders right over your hips, reach long through the crown of your head. Like I said, this is a pretty active seated posture, so you should feel your legs working, you should feel your low back working, reaching the crown up so your spine is nice and long. Hold here for 3 more breaths. Now from here, we're gonna take an active, nice long forward fold, and then we'll take a passive forward fold. So you can reach your arms up overhead for this active forward fold. We want to hinge at the hips, keeping our spine straight. Again, it's okay if your legs are all the way bent like this. You can walk your hands along your mat, but focusing on spinal length here. So if this is as far as you come today, that's great. And just continue to walk your hands forward. Stay long. As you breathe in, lengthen once again, and then as you breathe out, we'll take a more passive variation and you can just start to round your spine. Kind of like our embryo pose, releasing your forehead down toward your knees, letting your head fall. Feel a nice stretch going all the way down the length of your spine towards your tailbone. Last breath here. And round your way back up. Cross over your ankles and make your way down onto your stomach. Once you're down on your stomach, bring your hands right underneath your shoulders. Draw your elbows in. We're going to do a little breath and movement here in 3 rolling cobras. So we're strengthening our spine. As you breathe in, lift the crown of your head up. As you breathe out, release your forehead down toward the floor. So continue to do this, breathing in and out. As you do this, try to avoid using the pressure in your hands to lift you, but instead use the strength in your back. You're pressing into your hands a little bit, but you're not using all of your arm strength. And then press up into a tabletop position. Come on, onto your knees. Bring your shoulders over your wrists and your hips over your knees. As you breathe in, release your belly down, lift through the crown of your head and your tailbone, and as you breathe out, round your spine. So more breath to movement here. Let the breath flow in and out through your nose as you move from one posture to the next. This is cat and cow. Cat is when our spine is rounded. And cow pose is when our belly is released down toward the floor. You can take the entire length of your inhale and the entire length of your exhale to make the movement. So take it slow, ride the breath from one movement to the next. This will be our last round. Come back to tabletop position. And then from here, just bump your hips to the left and look toward your right toes. You're stretching your left side. Love that stretch, feels so good. Bump your hips to the right. Look to the left, look toward your toes. Stretch through your right side. Come back to center, and then walk your right leg straight, tuck your toes under, and press back through your heel. Return to tabletop position. Stretch your left leg long, tuck your toes under, press back through your left heel. So you're getting a nice stretch in your left calf and the back of your left leg. Come back to tabletop position. Now tuck all 10 toes under and press back to downward facing dog. If you prefer not to come into downward facing dog, if it feels like it's too much pressure on your wrists, come back to child's pose. You can take another variation of child's pose if you want. You can take your knees wide and your feet together and release your hips toward your heels and your forehead down on the mat. Otherwise, in downward facing dog, nice gentle downward facing dog, you can have a generous bend to your legs. You can pedal out your feet, wobble your head, shake it yes and no. And if you'd like to, find a static downward facing dog or a static child's pose. So you just hold stillness here for 3 breaths. And complete your exhale. Walk your hands towards your feet. If you're in child's pose, just come to a forward fold at the front of your mat. And again, a generous bend to the legs. Rest your torso on top of your thighs, and then take your opposite hand to your opposite elbow and just rest your head down toward the earth. So very little strain in the hamstrings. Do what you need to do so that you don't feel strain. If that means bending the legs even more, or if it means supporting yourself with your hands on the floor. Really focusing here on the length in our spine, back of the neck, so there's no tension or pressure in the head. You should be able to wobble your head yes and no, side to side, around in circles. Release your hands down onto the floor. Your choice with bent legs or straight. We're going to come into a halfway lift. Monkey pose, Ardha Uttanasana. Bring your spine long, so hands again can rest on the floor, the shins, the quads, a block. Feel supported here. Very little strain in your hamstrings, whatever variation you've taken. Now breath to movement. Take a deep inhale here, and then exhale. Come back to your forward fold. Maybe your legs are a little bit more straight this time, a little bit straighter. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, ride the breath up to monkey. Ride the exhale to forward fold. Bring your feet together and roll your way up to a stand. Take your time. Your head comes absolutely last. And come into mountain pose. Nice, strong, steady, grounded posture. Spread your toes wide. Lift through the crown of your head. Engage through your legs. And we'll continue to work a little more into with our breath. So breath to movement here. Inhale your arms up overhead. And as you exhale, side bend to the right. So reach your left arm up and across. You can look up or down, whatever feels, or straight ahead, whatever feels good. Inhale to center, and then exhale to the opposite side. Back to center. Exhale. Back to center. And cactus your arms. Open your chest. Back to center. Big breath in. Now keep your hips so they're pointing toward the front of your mat, and then reach your left arm forward and your right arm back. Little core strengthening here. So really engage as you twist and back to center. And right arm forward, left arm back. Come back to center. And then bring your hands to your heart. Generous bend of your knees as you take a forward fold. Come all the way down with bent legs. And release your hands onto the floor. Back to halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana, monkey pose with bent legs, forward fold. And then from here, step back to plank pose. You can always modify your plank pose with your knees on the floor, or you can take a tabletop position if you'd like. And then take a deep breath in wherever you are and lower all the way down. From here, bring your right arm to the right, and then you're gonna roll to the right. Bring your left leg up and over, and stamp it on the floor. Release your right ear onto the mat. Breathe in. Let it all go through your mouth. Come back through center. Extend your left arm to the left. Roll to the left. Bring your right arm up, or your right leg up and over, and stamp it on the floor. Big breath in through your nose. Let it go through your mouth. Come back through center. And from here, we'll move into Sphinx pose. So bring both forearms to the floor. Your forearms are going to be parallel with one another. Palms flat, fingers spread wide. And then actively reach your chest forward as you stretch long through your neck and crown of the head reaching toward the ceiling. So stay active in this gentle back bend. So continue to reach and stretch your chest forward. And then from here, we're gonna stretch the neck by releasing the chin to the chest, and then gentle rocking side to side. Come back to center, and then press back to extended child's pose. This time, the variation with your knees wide, your toes together, and your arms long. A little more active stretch here. As you breathe in to your belly, let your belly fall between your legs, expanding like a big balloon. So maximizing that space to circulate the breath. Walk your hands back and cross over your ankles and come back into a seated position. Go ahead and bring your right leg off to an angle, long on your mat, and then left foot into right inner thigh. I'm going to take a hamstring stretch and a side bend. So first, let's take the right hand to your left knee. Bring your left arm up and over. Reach up toward the ceiling. You can stay here or reach toward your toes. You can keep that right hand on your left knee or take your right forearm down onto your mat. So again, choosing the variation that works for you in your body today. That might be different from yesterday or tomorrow, working with any injuries, any tightness or tension. Most importantly, using the breath to really tap into where you're needing to stretch or soften or strengthen. So release from the side bend and face your shoulders towards your right toes. Now we'll take the hamstring stretch. Again, you can have this leg as bent as you need it to be as you work the hamstring stretch. And reach your arms up overhead and forward fold over your legs, or you can walk your hands alongside your legs. Working most importantly here on keeping these shoulders, your shoulders coming toward your right toes so that you feel an even stretch in your low back and into your hips. Release from your fold and we'll switch sides. Extend your left leg out to an angle. Bring your right foot to your left inner thigh. Bring your left hand across your body to your right knee, and then you're going to bring your right arm up toward the ceiling. You can stay here if this feels like a nice stretch, lengthening your right side, or you can start to reach your right hand toward your left toes. And option to either keep your left hand on your right knee, bring your left forearm down onto your mat. Just find length in your right side. Keep your neck long. Find a place to gaze that's comfortable on your neck. If that means looking down, straight out, up. No strain in your neck. Release from your side bend. Face your shoulders toward your left toes. Same thing here, you can come from reaching your arms up and hinging, or you can walk your hands forward, leg can be bent or straight. But bring your shoulders so they're both reaching towards your toes, so you feel an equal stretch on both sides of your spine in your low back. Release from your forward fold, walking your hands back. And then bring both feet together, soles of the feet are touching. You can have your feet far away from your hips, or you can draw them closer to your hips. They're both an equal stretch, but they're a different stretch. So again, your practice, feel which stretch is going to benefit you most today. I'm going to take a nice wide stretch, or wide angle, I mean. Take your hands onto your ankles wherever they are. Bring your elbows towards your knees and hinge forward. So again, working on keeping the spine long as you come forward. First, for this very active stretch, reaching your forehead past your toes. Nice deep breath in. And then more of a passive stretch, so you can release your forehead towards your heels and round your spine. And come all the way back up. Place both of your feet flat to the floor and make your way down onto your back. We're going to do just a little bit of core work, but I'll give you an option if you don't want to do the core work. It's pretty gentle. Just gonna bring your knees into your chest. Bring your arms out to capital T with your hands on the floor. And you're gonna slowly release your knees to the right, just till they come toward the floor, and take your knees back up and release your knees to the left. So the closer you hug your knees into the chest, the easier it will be to make this movement. If you want to make it more challenging, you bring your legs to 90 or potentially straight. A little massage for your spine. So if you don't want to take these twists, you can just hold your knees to one side, relaxing them on the floor, which we'll eventually do. This should feel really nice on your low back if you have a healthy low back. Other option, if you want the movement but don't really want to add the core into it, you can have your feet flat to the floor and just rock your knees side to side. I should have mentioned that earlier, but that's another option. Bring your knees to the right, rest them down on the floor for a spinal twist. And look to the left. Keep your low back nice and long. And work toward getting your left shoulder onto the floor. It's okay if it's not. It just adds that stretch to your shoulder and your chest as well. Back to center. You're going to release your knees to the left. Extend your arms and look to the right. Back to center. Hug your knees into your chest. Maybe bring your forehead toward your knees for a tight squeeze. And then bring your feet back to the floor with your knees pointing up toward the ceiling. Breath to movement again. We're going to take some rolling bridges. So bring your hands alongside your body, alongside your hips, palms face the floor, press into your heels, roll up. Breathe in. Roll down as you breathe out. 2 more times at your own pace. Really good for your spinal cord. Back bending. Spine strengthening. Last time. Let's take a hip stretch. Cross your right ankle over your left knee. Lift your left foot off the floor. Hands around the back of your thigh or your shin. As you draw your left heel in, press your right knee open. Work toward keeping your shoulders and your hips flat on the floor. Release your left foot to the earth. Bring your right foot to the floor and cross your left ankle over your right knee. Press your left knee open as you lift your right foot off the floor. You're going to have your hands around your thigh, threading through a little hole in the middle, or you can have your hands around your shin. Release your right foot to the floor. Hug both knees into your chest. You can stay here rocking side to side, or if you'd like to take happy baby, you can separate your knees and feet. Take hold of your thighs, your calves, ankles, your toes, your feet, and then just rock side to side. Extend your left leg long on your mat. Interlace your fingers around your right knee and then hug your right knee up towards your shoulder. Bring it around your ribs. And release your right leg long on the floor. Hug your left knee into your chest, hands around your knee. Bring it up toward your left shoulder. And release. If you are near a wall or have a wall accessible to you, we're going to take legs up the wall pose. I don't have a wall right here, so I'm just going to show you legs up the wall pose without the wall. So if you are by a wall, pretend the edge of my mat is a wall, scoot your hips up, and then you're just going to bring your legs all the way up the wall. And if your hamstrings are tight, have bent knees and just rest your heels on the wall. You can even scoot your hips a little bit further away so it looks more like this. But this is an inversion where our head is below our heart and we're reversing the flow of blood. So this pose is very restorative. It's really good for your body. It's really relaxing. As you rest in legs up the wall pose, hands will come down alongside your body. Then all the weight of your legs will just rest on the wall. Just as we did at the beginning of class, move your jaw around, open and close your mouth, shake your jaw side to side, and then completely relax your jaw. Bring all of your awareness to your forehead, right above and between your eyebrows, and just relax that space. Of course, close your eyes here. A couple of options in legs up the wall pose. If you want an inner thigh stretch, and if it feels good to you, you can separate your legs into a straddle. Again, resting the weight of your legs against the wall. Or you can take them into a butterfly pose, resting the weight of your feet against the wall. This is gentle restorative. So take the variation that actually just feels relaxing and releasing in your body. If it feels good to you and you're loving it, stay in legs up the wall pose for your Shavasana. Otherwise, if you'd like to take traditional Shavasana, you'll just roll your legs off the wall and then walk yourself away. Extend your legs long, and the arms will come to rest alongside your body. Let your feet fall open and your palms face up toward the ceiling. Wiggle around, move around until you're comfortable and you feel like you can stay in that position without movement. Wherever you are, breathe deeply in through your nose. Let it go through your mouth. Close your lips and start to breathe naturally and gently in and out, letting go of your breath practice. Coming into a state of relaxation and ease. Take a moment here to observe the difference in your body from the beginning of class to the end of class, observing that same difference in your mind, your thoughts, and your emotions, your heart. Working to integrate this practice into your body so you can take it off of your mat with you into your daily life or into your evening, bringing a sense of peace and calm from your yoga practice to your life. Rest in Shavasana or legs up the wall pose for as long as you have time for, maybe an extra 3 to 5 minutes at the very least. Thanks so much for practicing with me today or tonight as you go forward. May you have peace in your thoughts, your words, your heart, from my heart to yours. Namaste.